Hello, hello, and welcome to the Renewal of Red Row. We have been gone for a little while, but we are back now and excited to be here. I am Alyssa, your game master. My pronouns are they, them. I am on Twitter at a disaster queer, and I am going to pass it to Jo to introduce herself and her character.
Hello, everyone. I'm Josephine. I'm at Scary Dog Friend. I am playing Freddie Rose, our Ink Weaver. I am Bad House co-producer and here to get fucked up emotionally, as per usual. I'm gonna pass it over to Rook.
Hi everyone, I'm Rook. Today I'll be playing, as usual, I'll be playing Marigold, the Bound. Ready to face the consequences of my action/inaction. Never.
It's not supposed to mean it's fine.
You know what it means.
I do. I'm so excited. I'm Neda, Noor Ahmed, and Amir go by they, them. I'm playing DeNiro, who's our knight. Not doing much else. It's not going to be on an outro. I'm just locked and loaded and so tough and masculine, ready to go.
Nadine was unable to join us today, but you can find them online at NE_actor on Twitter, and I believe without the underscore on Blue Sky. And so let us begin now. Last time, y'all got drunk. Was most of the episode was people hanging at the bar and having some difficult/personal conversations about your relationships with each other and with the world in general and all of the choices what you have made. And that sort of ended in you coming up with a game plan for how to sort of fight back against this eviction, and part of that was that Marigold and DeNiro decided that they are going to attempt to get a job from the sisters, who are one of the sort of powers that be in the area of Red Row. So, Marigold, you have never accepted a job from the sisters before. DeNiro, I don't know. Have you ever done any work for them?
I don't think he's ever been offered. It's been low-level stuff, because he's a very simple guy, so kind of needs to prove himself, it seems.
All right. Then I think that, Marigold, you have gotten offers that you've turned down because the sisters have historically been very focused against the other powers that be in Red Row, and so if you started working for them, there's a big chance that your opportunities with other sort of major players would dry up. So how would you like to go about attempting to sort of get in contact to see if they have any work for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten offers from them before, so I think Marigold's plan is kind of go through the usual channels of kind of like is there like a specific place where he would go to like hear about a job, or like what's kind of the vibe in terms of kind of like a place to meet up with the sisters middle people?
Yes, so I think it's easy enough for you to know that the sisters themselves work out of a giant warehouse in Threadneedle Square, which is in sort of the center of Red Row. It's a sort of commercial area that is a sort of mixed commercial/storage area that's, a confluence of all the different, like, everyone who's doing sort of move-in things up Spire is sort of around there. And nearby the warehouse, there is a diner that was previously owned by the sisters. I believe that y'all got a look at some of the sort of commercial like leases from Glassholm, and it has recently been sold. But as far as you know, the sisters might still be working out of there or their intermediaries might still be working out of there because they seem pretty buddy with Shines the Light and with all of these sort of businesses that are being picked up by Glassholm.
Cool. So I think like I'll turn to DeNiro and go, "Do you fancy waffles?"
Is this a genuine question? Because I've had to defend waffles very vigilantly against Theo, who has to insist every time that pancakes are superior. I don't remember the last time I've had a good waffle. And then he like looks to where we are. Is like, yeah. Let's. Waffles sound great.
Likely we're going to be seeing people who work for the sisters, so be cool.
I can do that. That mostly involves not talking, as experience has told me that's the coolest thing you can do, to look mysterious. And he like shrugs his mask on, sort of makes like a lean on an invisible wall. Like,
do you fall over?
No, and I don't think I'm gonna roll for anything. I like, because it's like it's a very slight lead. He does the classic cool guy pose.
Marigold will give you like a once over and go, "Yeah, okay, you'll be fine," and then kind of like heads in.
Great.
Now, did y'all choose to come here right after your sort of drinks? Or is this the next like day or morning?
Probably the next day.
Probably the next day.
DeNiro didn't get drunk at the planning session, but he knew that it would probably be better to do it with a clear head. So
Fair enough. So it's the morning. This diner, unfortunately named, it is in Threadneedle Square, and it is called the Threadneedle Diner. We're having a time trying to come up with a name for it. But it is relatively bustling. There are sort of a lot of folks who maybe don't have work for the day or are starting a little bit later, sort of nursing cups of coffee and giant piling plates of pancakes. Unfortunately, pancakes are the superior breakfast food option and are ordered by most of the constituents here, but it's easy enough for you to sort of find a table. They direct you to a booth in the back, and you can see sort of at the like bar counter in front of the kitchen, there is a person set up who, Marigold, you recognize as one of these sort of intermediaries who has basically tried to headhunt you for jobs for the sisters in the past.
I think like as I kind of like clock them and make eye contact, I kind of like flash them kind of like a hand sign of kind of like interested in talking, because like sometimes I do just come here for breakfast and sometimes it's just kind of a little bit awkward. But I do kind of like signal to them that I am interested in talking about jobs as we head to the table.
So this is a human. They're sort of roughly scarred. They have one large scar across their face. And they look sort of stoic and set. But as soon as you do that gesture, they sort of look around like, is that for me? Is he finally talking to me? Have I done it? Like just an absolutely giddy schoolgirl, and then sort of chills, composes himself.
I lean over to DeNiro and I'm kind of like, the thing I said about being cool, never mind, no one is cool here.
he continues to not speak, but is like, let's have some pancakes about it.
They do waffles here if you do want waffles.
All right, and then he seems perked up a little. Let's have some waffles about it.
I think that your contact, whose name is Lorenzo, any pronouns, they sort of let you all get settled, let you put in an order, give you a couple minutes, and it's hard to tell if they're like, yeah, I'm being chill about this, or if they like genuinely have other work to do. They go back to sort of scribble on some papers before finally deigning to stand and make their way over to your booth.
Lorenzo, how are you doing?
Didn't expect to see you here. For work, I mean, obviously. The food is perfect.
The food is excellent. Yeah. No, times are changing, and Red Rose changing, and you gotta change with it. So I'm exploring my options.
Lorenzo sort of straightens and almost like puffs out their chest even further. And you can see on their lapel is just like a shiny new triangle pin. And they sort of brush it down a little, like not at all subtly, and say, "It is, things are certainly changing around here, but of course the sisters would always be happy to work with you if you're finally seeing the light and willing to work with us."
When Z says seeing the light, is that like a double?
It's like a not quite a wink, but a like smirk.
Buddy, that's not Marigold, that's me. Yes, no, I'm definitely interested in taking a peek at the light. There is a even more obvious smirk. And I don't come alone. This is DeNiro, who comes very recommended by myself.
Yep. He knocks his drink on the table. It's easy. Well, I don't know how much you know about Red Row right now, but looking for work. It's been a little rough, but if you want a guard type that has no known political affiliations, then I'm your guy. And he gives an actual wink.
Lorenzo sort of looks you up and down where you're sitting and then focuses in on your face. Are you the fighting pit sometimes?
Yes, sir. Them.
I bet against you last time and you lost me so much money.
I don't know what I can do about that.
And that's how you know.
Yeah. That kind of it makes my track record a little more obvious. I don't have to showboat much unless you want me to. So
Lorenzo sort of takes that in and shrugs, like, yeah, I mean, that logic tracks. They sort of make a hand gesture, and one of the wait staff of the diner appears out of nowhere, sort of a stool in hand, so that rather than having to sit on one of the booth benches with you, they can just set up at the end of the table. But he says, I mean, obviously, Marigold, I wouldn't be so inclined to hire you if you weren't also highly recommended. And I think I have a job that would suit both of your particular talents. Are either of you political?
No, I did just say that, and I did mean it. Unless this was to hint at something else. I don't really have time for politics, like at this point, you know?
And for me, politics doesn't necessarily gel well with... I just gesture at myself.
Line of
And
work.
the knives and everything. When you're in this line of business, you know.
Well, I think that those knives will be getting real friendly with some politicians soon. Do you need the details, or do you just sort of need names?
I work best with details.
Yeah, I'd say me too.
If like a name is great and all, but sometimes there are surprises, and the more I know, the easier it is to react.
All right, well, I think that all you need to know is that there are 3 council members that our dear sisters are very interested in. There's some upcoming vote, it doesn't matter, but we just need to make sure that they align with Our Lady's interests.
So is this... We're in public. So, sorry, that was me realizing we're in public. So is this a full job or a half measure?
Oh, intimidation. Okay. I mean, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
I think Lorenzo sort of nods at you, DeNiro, and says, "Exactly, you're a quick learner. Nothing. We still need them around to make their vote, unless they're completely intractable, but I don't think that any of them should be. One, Cassian Bell's Toll Warning. He's on... No, wait. One, Astrid Frank, she's on our side. She owns some properties, her values are in alignment with our dear sister, so we just need to sort of remind her to actually show up to the meeting and cast her vote. It's a little less clear with the captain. He's the head of the committee, and while he is invested in some of the sisters' interests, which I think Marigold is pretty clear to you means that he buys drugs from the sisters.
Right.
He has some other entanglements in the area that might make a specific vote tricky for him. The final member is the hardest, I think. One of those Spire types. But we really only need 2 votes, so if you can turn the captain and ensure that Astrid makes it to the vote, then we'll be fine, but I think it would be nice. There's a nice symbolism, I think, in the 3 sisters getting all 3 votes that they need for this meeting, so I'll up your pay. The 3rd counselor is Catherine Bell Toll's warning. They would be a hard sell, I think, on switching their vote, but the two of you look pretty persuasive.
Question. So Lorenzo mentioned that the third one has ties that would make the vote difficult. Do we know this person? Like, are they involved in, like, our sort of circles?
Go ahead and give me a roll for, let's say, low society and investigate.
Cool. Okay, so that's 1 dice. It's an 8.
I'll also.
Hey. Nice. Okay, so you know, and this was the sort of second person they mentioned. This is the captain, Captain Morning Rose Without Mercy, who is a counselor and the head of the housing subcommittee of the General Council of the City of Spire. And I think that from sort of the various jobs you've had, you've never worked with him directly, but sort of his name has been brought up, and you think that he used to work with Mr. Winters. So he used to be actually a member of the city guard, and in that capacity had some sort of arrangement with Mr. Winters. So, split allegiances.
Right. Okay. Okay. And other thing. So, both of us have kind of said that we're not... So, us as characters, like, actually do know kind of, like, what vote the sisters are looking for because we know the context. However, we have both said that we're not politically inclined. And I do want to hear Lorenzo say it, so I think Marigold will go. And just because neither of us are super up to date on the vote you're talking about, obviously we don't want to make them pick the wrong thing because we don't know what we're asking them to do.
That'd be
What
ridiculous.
exactly is the vote we want them to pick?
Lorenzo sort of snaps and says, "This is exactly the type of keen mind that I wanted when I hired you, or when I kept trying to hire you."
There's a flashback to yesterday, Freddie and Marigold having the conversation about hooking up with that guy. As Lorenzo says, keen mind. And then we come back to the present.
It's hard to get.
Um,
What can I say?
we need the council to approve the measure that will be coming before them.
Okay. I looked at DeNiro. I think we can do that.
Yeah. Feel like Cassian Bells rings some bells, but again, that is such an Upspire name. So, do you do half up front, or is that rude to ask right now? Well, if we get 3 votes, that doesn't matter as much. So, I'll keep it. I'll keep it chill until then. It's a little nervous looking.
You know, I believe in the two of you, and I'm excited to have you both working more with the sisters as we move into a new Red Row. So, you know what? Breakfast is on me. And I'll, if you do this well, you'll be in the good graces of the sisters and maybe get some higher class jobs coming up.
Oh, I see what you're putting down. Okay. Pancakes. But thank you.
Lorenzo sort of makes eye contact with the waiter who was working your table and sort of gestures in the air, like slices their hand through it. Waiter nods and goes to sort of deal with your bill, putting it on Lorenzo, or I guess the sisters tab. Did you need anything else? I can tell you where Cassian works. We've been tracking them pretty closely, but the other two, Astrid, you could probably find somewhere here in the row. The captain, you might have to go up Spire a bit as well.
That's fine. Do you know what neighborhood? Do you know what floor?
I think that he's been reassigned. I mean, officially he's not a member of the Watch at all anymore, but unofficially you should be able to find him. Me pulling up my map of Spire.
Me also pulling up my map of Spire.
Me looking in the wrong
Yeah,
PDF
that's
to
more
find a
Spire.
map of Spire. There we go. Unofficially, you could probably find him up in the Pilgrim's Walk.
Pilgrim's Walk. Okay. Interesting place for someone to hang out.
Well, I
Okay.
think it's more that he's not terribly welcome most other places, but
Slim pickings.
Jesus, and we let this guy make decisions for this neighborhood? Okay. Okay.
no, he makes decisions for the whole city.
That's me why I'm not
Fair.
very into politics. I don't think I need
Okay.
anything else, unless you do.
I don't think I need anything else.
All right, well, the vote is in 3 days now. So if you could just tie this up today or tomorrow and let me know that everything is secure. And you'll be paid handsomely after the vote.
Sounds good.
Great.
See you tomorrow.
Sort of nods, stands, brushes down his lapel again, and walks back to his chair at the bar or at the counter.
I guess we finish breakfast and head out. Unless you had more you wanted to do here.
No? We can probably get to the job on the next scene, unless you had something to say.
I did just want to ask some more, like, clarifying questions. So, like, how many... So, they need 3 more vote, or 2 more votes. Like, how many council members are there?
So I believe it is a council of 11 fully, but there are a bunch of little council like subcommittees. So
Right.
the housing subcommittee currently, the entire council is technically on recess and will be for the next 6 months. But because this is such an important vote for really like an icon in the city, they've sort of gathered a subset of the housing of the subcommittee to sort of hold the vote. So it's just 3 people.
It's just 3 people.
Just 3 people.
Okay. Interesting. As we're walking out, I turn to DeNiro. Well, how was your first job meet? Well, not first job meeting, but how was your first
Pre-meeting?
vaguely illegal job meeting?
You don't have to sugarcoat it. These are all vaguely illegal things that we do if it makes us feel better to say that. But I don't know. I felt like there would be more danger involved, but apparently we all have to look normal, and act normal. So maybe it'll be more dangerous later.
It probably will be, but
I mean, Astrid seems okay. I don't know if that'll
I mean,
require anything.
no, I think like I know we agreed to do it, but I've never taken a job from the sisters, and
No, I'm assuming you had your reasons. And this was an
I
extenuating
mean,
circumstance.
mostly I want to know what they're doing, and
That's why I'm doing it. Mostly. Knowledge
kind of
is
question
very
is-
important.
is how do we want to play it? Because we could very much do the job as intended,
Hmm.
or we could take the leads and run with them. Because frankly, if we do our job, Red Rose kind of fucked.
That's. I'm going to be real. I thought that was happening with or without this specific interference, but he mulls it a bit.
I mean, I'd be fine going to Astrid and just being like, hey, go to the vote, do your job. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
That's a third of it, I guess. But if those other politicians stand to gain something from this vote, I think being conversational would help, because worst case scenario is that you don't get a job with them again. And I feel like you're fine with that. And
I mean, you saw Lorenzo in there. They want me more than I want them. And frankly, most of my other employers kind of hate them. So it's not like being on their shit list is really gonna.
You're describing it as if it would be a favor if this mission failed. Is what I'm picking up. Just stop me if I'm getting a little ahead of you here. Kind of leads in a little conspiratorially. I do need to know more about the sisters, though. And if we only get the results of this at the end of the vote, I'm almost inclined to do it as is.
I mean, what you said before. I mean, you're right. Retro is kind of fucked whether we do this or not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe we do the job and we just kind of use it with, the captain and looks at the note, and with Cassian, maybe we use it as an opportunity to gather some information about kind of what's going on at the council level.
Yeah.
But we still kind of lay it on thick that the sisters would like you to vote in a very specific way, and if you do not, there will be consequences.
Mm-hmm.
But those consequences exist whether or not we directly intervene.
So it's less work for us. Well, yeah. I see. That's a nice way of looking at it, and like the promise for more, like the possibility of getting something bigger out of this means I should be all in. So,
And hey, they do pay well. Like,
which is useful. Yeah, like we're not thinking about morals or anything. That is
yeah, no, like
reason.
I don't do this job because I particularly enjoy it, or because I think like stabbing people in the dark is
Cool.
a good thing. I mean, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's even pretty fun, but like the extra money helps, and like wherever we end up, you know, we're gonna need it.
I said cool right now, but that's mostly Theo talking. Because I kind of looks a little sadly at you. I've had to keep a lot of your general employment shit a secret for obvious reasons. You know, like he used to really look up to you until, you know, you disappeared a little more. And then, because I figured he would look for you, you've made it harder. So
Yeah, there's yeah. Back when Michael was around, it was a lot easier to like make time for the kids in the neighborhood. You know, but then
yeah,
more jobs needed to be taken, and more money needed to come in to like make sure everyone got what they needed. And can't be around as often as you'd like.
no, I mean, I got 2 jobs for that reason. So I'm never blaming you for that. I'm also not trying to express anything like judgment. I'm mostly worried about him, but
I'm also worried about him.
how are you?
Oh, that's a question.
Okay. Do you want it to wait? Is it one of
No,
those?
it's... I'm not from Retro originally. You know, like... I grew up in the Perch, up Spire. Not up, not up Spire, posh up Spire, but...
Gotta
really out Spire, like, Marigold points towards, like, a random, like, wall of, like, the city.
Mm-hmm. Where it's horizontal and shit.
Yeah. Redro doesn't mean a lot to me because I have a lifetime spent here, but it means a lot to me because the people mean a lot to me. So yeah, I'm stressed, and I'm scared of what the future will hold. But you know, as long as we all get through this, that's good enough for me. How are you?
I wouldn't even say I'm so great with words, but it's like it's almost the same, you know, except I know so many people aren't used to like this, what is it? This like upheaving. So like even if we can do some good, we have to act like everyone needs to leave. So I've just been moving shit, packing shit when I'm not working. I've had to look up school districts and what they mean because I'm not gonna let the kids do that. I'm not gonna let Theo do that. So, but there's a lot of shit I didn't know. Like some science type people have said that like your zip code can like determine how long you live or your quality of life, and that shit kind of scares me. But it's not about me. It scares me about the kids not having control over that sort of thing. So I have not really had much time to sit down about it until yesterday. So thanks.
Anytime.
And you know what? If you don't want to be like alone in your apartment while all this is happening, I'm pretty sure you know my number. You can just come by.
Yeah. I think I will.
Okay. Until then, we have to find people. I'm gonna shut up for the majority of it and let you take the lead, because I'm mostly good at the showboating shit. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'll be okay.
okay,
I
great.
guess we head off to find Astrid.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think that as you two head off, we will fade into the other member of our party here, Freddie, who had decided, or who had announced that she was gonna attempt to go talk to Mr. Winters, with whom she has some sort of personal connection. Freddie, do you wait until the next morning, or are you going in hot and drunk to go find this man?
Wait a minute. Oh no. The weight of the world is at our fingers right now. Hang on a sec. If there's a move that I have, if there's something that I can like use, maybe, let's see. Okay, do it for the story. That's about other people's baser impulses, not mine. So that's interesting. I have an honest face. Some things are too. All of my skills are about other people and not my own clarity, inner clarity.
Wow, that seems so out of character for this person who has such good sense of their own inner clarity.
Alyssa, could you flip a coin for me? Tails, we go in hot.
Tails.
Okay. So after everyone leaves, we all part, we have our, we all feel awkward, whatever. Freddie's just like, I'm going home. I promise. I'm going home. It's not gonna be, there's no worries. And then I immediately, I'm gonna get a snail taxi. What is the public transportation?
It is now a snail taxi.
It's a snail
so
taxi.
if you played Pyre, it's like the merchant who just has a giant snail.
Oh, excellent. Perfect. And I'm going to go... Oh, God. Am I gonna go to his house?
I mean, he has an office, where his house is, that you'd probably be more likely to find him at home at this time of day.
We went out for drinks like early, like it was like 3 p.m. So when did we leave? Like I don't have to like we didn't have to be there for like 5 hours or anything ridiculous. So it could be just later in the day, just regardless if where we split apart. Alyssa, can you flip a coin? Tails as I just go to his house.
I got the same thing twice, so it is. I've been rolling a d6, so it is
Okay.
tails.
Okay. I almost want to put the screen back on to Netta and Rook to see them, to have the audience react to everybody, but this is my cross to bear. Oh God.
Suffer alone.
Thanks.
Just
Yeah.
know we're very disappointed in whatever happened.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, from what you remember of working with Mr. Winters, he is a very sort of early to rise type of person. Likes to get the majority of his business done before the sun is even up. And that doesn't mean that he goes to sleep early. It just means that his sort of nighttime nightcaps start around, 4
Yeah.
p.m.
He doesn't
and
like
extend throughout the night.
Yeah, for sure. He seems like he only really needed like maybe 3 or 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
I don't know that for any particular reason.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
The other thing you don't know for any particular reason is where he actually lives, which is in Red Row. There is a sort of an estate by Red Row standards, which is really just sort of a single family house with like an in-law suite, sort of out back attached to it haphazardly, and his mother lives in the main house, and he sleeps or conducts his business out of the suite in the back. You've spent some time figuring out how to slip by the main windows and entrance without anyone noticing you, again, for no particular reason. And know exactly where the specific back door to that suite is, despite it being sort of covered by hedges.
Yep. Should I make a sneak check or like what? Like
Gonna say. Yeah, I mean, do you want to knock? Do you want to like just fully try and break in? How you want to approach this?
Yeah, I want to break into his house. I mean, I want to covertly get into his suite without his mom seeing or hearing me.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a low society sneak.
Great. So I have low society, but I don't have sneak, so that's just 2.
2.
Okay. That is a 6.
Okay, that is success at a cost.
Sounds good. I lose my shoe.
How very Cinderella of you.
Exactly.
I think that as you are starting, you've done this before, but it's been a minute, and there's a lot more sort of not wildlife, but like plant growth around this place than you have seen before. Like an uncanny amount. Like the plants would not grow this fast under normal circumstances around his house. And as you are sort of sneaking past the main house around the back, your arm snags on a hedge, and there are sharp thorns that sort of dig, like, and almost like stick and cling and try and like pull at you. And you are going to take 2 blood stress. And the plants have your blood, but that's fine.
No. That's not fine.
It's definitely fine.
Okay. Marked. And I have no blood, so it's all good.
So So that's just stress. Okay, so that means for the first time, I get to roll for Fallout.
Oh
So,
boy.
What this means
Fallout
is
4.
I roll a d10.
Uh-huh.
Actually, Fallout New Vegas.
Fallout New Vegas.
I roll a d10, and if I roll under your total amount of stress, which is 2, then you suffer fallout, which is even more consequences than sort of currently exist.
Yeah.
So because it's a 2, which is fairly low, there's a good chance that you will be fine. But I did roll a 1. Wait. No, it's a 7. You're fine. You're good. You're good. You're good. My dice is just hard to read. So you're fine. You've got a little scratch on your arm and the plants know your blood. It's totally cool.
Mm-hmm.
But you are able to sneak around the house with the lady of the house, Mrs. Winters, not noticing you, and get to the door. Open the door.
Is there anything else that kind of gets in my way or is an obstacle to his suite? Like, is there like servants or something, or people in endurance?
No, so there are in the main house, but in his area is very much like just him. You know that he doesn't like having people in his space. The fact that he invited you in was a big deal back in the day.
Yeah. Am I able to? I'll get closer to his, like, where his actually like sleeping quarters are, or like wherever I hear him. But how should I go about like getting a sense for where he is at the moment?
Yeah, so I think you break in, you enter into
I've investigated.
familiar.
Could do that.
Well, I think that because of your problem, he will find you before you are able to find him.
That's fine.
So you unlock the door, and it's familiar foyer. A pair of his shoes lined up neatly against the door, a sort of nice work jacket hanging up. There is another pair of shoes there that you don't quite recognize, but before you can do any sort of inspection, you hear him, and you know that this is him announcing his presence, because despite being like very broad and strong for a drow, he is very he can be very elegant and light on his feet when he so wishes. So the slight stumbling against the doorway as you enter is intentional, but I think that what is not necessarily expected for you or intentional is the dagger that is flung sort of past your head into the door.
Is this the new alarm system? Very effective.
He glowers at you, sort of a very like rough face with like wide features, heavy like thick eyebrows, and sort of stalks forward, now almost silent, another dagger in his hand. And unless you do something, unless you like dart out of the way, he is going to attempt to box you against the door.
Yeah, let's just kind of try to, I don't think elegantly whatsoever, just kind of like slip away.
You can use either, I would say, fight or sneak. and crime.
I shall just be rolling 1 dice, I believe.
And I think that because he was expecting you, you will be rolling that at a disadvantage. So
Great.
roll 2, give me your worst.
Cool. Honestly, let's just fucking go for it. Let's see. Freddie has second chances, but I don't think she's at a point where if I get stabbed, I don't need to necessarily do anything about that yet. 1.
Wowzers!
My other one was a 2.
You attempt to slip away, but maybe it's the drinks, or maybe it's just the stress of this meeting, of being in this place that is so familiar with this man who is both familiar and maybe not quite anymore. But as you attempt to move, you cut yourself on the dagger that was embedded in the wall or in the door behind you, and take another 2 blood stress.
I'm at 4.
I will save this fallout roll for now. But and he is able to maneuver so that you are just fully against the wall, the dagger that he had thrown sort of against your neck on one side, the other dagger in his hand pressed against you on the other. And he stares in your eyes, and you can smell the whiskey on his breath as he asks, "How did you get her blood?"
What? I'm the only one bleeding right now. I'm pretty sure.
He scoffs at you. The security thinks that it was Freddie, the Rose of Sharon, who is coming to my door, but I know better than that after so long. So tell me, how did you get her blood?
I mean, so the music I have on stream is too exciting, so I'm just gonna change it back to the default. It's it's only been like three years. Is it that really that long of a time? Maybe longer.
Have you met her? This isn't
Demos.
This isn't a joke. If this is about... I think that the dagger against your neck sort of digs in a little sharper as you say his given name. If this is about payment, Mairead, it's coming. But this appearing as her.
Do you think I'm dead? I'm sure there are a few things that I could do to maybe prove that it's definitely me. I think I want to like I guess I just want to see what happens if I just start to like in like a similar way to as if he were like on top of me or something like that. Just kind of like very sensually just like start to push my fingers like kind of under his like button up and like kind of go down, feeling the muscles like just above his back. It just kind of like wrap my arms sort of around him in a very, I've done this a lot to him, that kind of way. And almost at the same time pushing him a little bit away from me.
Yeah, I think the hand holding the dagger against your neck sort of shakes for a moment before dropping down to his side. And he looks down at you and says, "If you're not dead, then you better have a good reason for leaving, for not coming back for 3 years."
It really is a test of how far to lean in. So I think in Freddie's full drunken, like panic, overcompensating is through the roof right now. And I think I'm gonna say, I'm gonna lie a little bit and maybe put on a facade of like emotionality. I'm here because I needed to be here. I needed some answers. There are people that their lives are falling through just as much as mine did when I left. Are you sure you want to know?
I know better than to ask you things I don't want the answer to. Gods know I barely get answers when I do want them.
I got pregnant.
He stares at you, and I think steps back a little, while at the same time bringing his hand towards you, towards your stomach, as if he could somehow feel it 3 years later.
I let him.
With me, we have a child?
No. I lost it.
Go ahead and make me... You can choose if this is compel or deceive. I think it could go either way. And occult.
Oh, easy. We're gonna do deceive occult. Just in case, I may want to use second chances. So I know minor prayer, often used by gamblers, and I think while I have my fingers still behind, he pulled away from me, but I think like I've put my hands behind my back and I do almost a motion that is akin to like a minor illusion to like a coin, like just sort of juggling with my fingers. That's the prayer. After I've rolled dice to resolve an action, but before play continues, I can mark up to 3 stress. Against any resistance I wish and mutter a prayer to stalls under my breath. I can reroll as many dice as I have marked stress. So, I mean, I guess this is funny, Alyssa, because I technically have 3 shadow resistance. Could I just literally say, I'll take 3 shadow resistance and I'm fine? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And what type of, like, stress is shadow? Like, what does that look like?
Shadow is basically like how your like your sort of cover is. So like people can't really tie you to illicit things or to acts that you have done, what they are maybe upset about.
Word, okay. I think we're so far past that. I think my natural resistances, God, breakthrough. I do that little thing. I mask the prayer to be something like me cursing underneath my breath or like something along those lines, but it is, give me another chance. And I'm gonna roll 3 more dice. What I got, my highest was a 7, but we're gonna try to get it all the way. Okay, we got a 9.
Okay. Yeah, he looks at you and moves the hand that had been sort of against your stomach up towards your neck, runs a thumb along your jawline, and then pulls back entirely. Sort of turns and nods towards where you know his home office is, and he says, maybe we should talk about this over drinks?
Maybe, yeah.
And I think that is where we will take our break. So join us in like 10-ish minutes. We'll be back with people making decisions. Thanks, y'all. Bye. Welcome back to the Renewal of Red Row. Before we get back into it, a singular channel announcement, which is each one by night. The finale is happening next week, September 5th, 8 p.m. AT. Go forth and be there in chat and to watch. It will be great. I am excited. So that being said, and getting back into things, Freddie, I put off a Fallout roll from your actions earlier, so I'm going to go ahead and roll that now. Your sort of working stress level is 4, so if I roll under a 4, you're fine. No, if I roll under a 4, you're bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a 3. So, as Mr. Winters walks away and you sort of move to follow him, you feel something on your arm where the sort of scratch from outside was. And what is Freddie wearing, like, sleeves-wise? Does she have just, like, a wrap and is sort of sleeveless, or what's the deal?
Yeah, it's like a basically underwear top, like lingerie lace situation, and then the big like fluffy fur wrap kind of thing. The one thing that always kind of connects her to Stoles, I think, are like little, she has whenever she wears string and like just ties it around her neck or like her arm, hand, or like as a bracelet, like those are always like her little tokens and notes for Stoles. But yeah, it very much makes sense that I got my fucking arm fucked up on thorns.
Yeah, so you can feel and even see, like, as you watch, the sort of straight line from that cut on your arm changes, and the blood, the torn skin, forms into the words, "I lost them," as you now have the condition hard on your sleeve. So until the end of next session, any lies you tell cause the truth to appear on your... Oh, it causes the truth to appear as a tattoo on your skin.
Until the end of next session?
That's what it says. End of next session. So rather than I lost him, I think that you now have sort of on your arm, and you can pick, like, maybe this is like your wrap slipped and this is on your shoulder, so it's a little easier to cover up. But instead it says, "I sold him."
Yeah. And am I the only one seeing that? Or...
Yeah, you're the only one who's noticed it.
And where is it again on my body?
Do you want it to be, do you think it would make sense for it to be like on your forearm or somewhere like a little higher up?
Oh, I interpreted it as like where I started bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put my wrap around me and I'm gonna just pretend I'm cold so that I can do the woman thing and maybe he'll give me his jacket.
I mean, look, there's a jacket hanging in the foyer if you wanted to grab it, but
he has to give it to me
for his chivalry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Do you follow into the office? He a couple steps ahead of you. Okay. He sets up at the sort of large, comfortable chair behind his desk. It seems like maybe he's trying to create a little bit of space at this point, but gestures magnanimously. There's like a very sort of plush leather, like chaise lounge in front of a fireplace that is merrily burning away despite it being warm out. There are a few like snippets of paper that you can see that quickly sort of curl away and burn to ash. But yeah, he gestures you to a chair. There's also, if you didn't want to lounge quite as much, there's another chair sort of in front of his desk. And of course, you don't need to sit. Where do you go?
I'm drunk and I think just like so unsure what to do with myself that I think I will sit, if not just to continue to try and hide the thing as if I was cold. And maybe sitting will help me somehow be less cold.
He looks at you from behind the desk, sort of very stiff, almost falling into a business-like posture as he tries to deal with everything that you are and everything that you bring. There is a bottle on his desk and a small glass that it seems like he sort of downed before coming out to meet you. He'll look at you and offer the bottle.
It's just a bottle. There's not like a glass.
So he has a small glass. But he just sort of like lifts the bottle and gestures to you. Like he'll pour you something if you indicate that you want any.
I'll take the bottle from his hand and I'll just take a swig.
Sort of laughs a little low and bitter and says, "It really is you after all these years, huh?"
being here, I don't want to shift the perspective or anything like that, but it's been so long since I've been here. I don't know. I'm here for a sort of business situation. It's more so, it's something I'm trying to solve, help with. And I mean, I saw this as a window of sorts. A very ridiculous and crazy one, but I guess that one thing doesn't really change about me.
Of course it's business. Always working, aren't you? It's admirable when it isn't absolutely infuriating. And for a moment, he grabs the bottle back from you, pours out a more than generous shot into the glass, and hands the bottle back, using the actual glass for himself. What is this venture, then, that would bring you to my door?
You must know at this point, Red Row is getting condemned.
He sort of, sinks, like almost deflates a little bit. I'm doing what I can to stop it, Freddie, but it's damn sisters that hail here from up Spire.
I found myself in an incredibly volatile spot in all of this, where through a little, I'm not sure, task force at this point, we're trying to make sure that we're swaying the vote, at the very least buying us time during that council. I have in the unfortunate position where I am under the good favors of Shines the Light. This is an opportunity for me to maybe find some information, get access to things that you may need or want, but your name is the one that continues to pop up, the one getting in the way of certain things. That maybe, well, I guess to ask even, do you have any involvement in the council?
I have a representative who is arguing on my behalf at the actual holding, but the subcommittee, one of them is some Spire artist sort. I've never had much of a talent for dealing with those, and the other, she's in Red Row, but it would be hard to sway. She owns houses, owns property near where Shines the Light is buying up. Even if I make her life difficult, I don't think I'd make it difficult enough for her to change her mind, for the prophet to not overcome anything. Our last bet is someone I've worked with before, but well, I have the same agent going out to meet him now. We'll see how it turns up. It's funny, I thought you were them, actually, coming back.
Well, sorry for the surprise. Is it possible I could collaborate with your representative? And maybe from Shines the Light even I could get these names. But I figure if you have the inside scoop on who is actually the problems, or who can be swayed if I show up to their house unannounced.
The one that you would be the most useful with, I think, is already on our side. And
Fantastic.
my agent... My agent works best alone. Is fairly against working with others, in fact.
Not even for information?
I'll give you their name, I'll tell you where you can find them, but it's up to you to make the sell. Although, if it's up to you to make the sell, it probably will end up happening, won't it?
I am a simple journalist these days, so who knows what type of spark I may still have or not. But thank you for your belief.
You haven't lost your spark, Freddie. I don't think that you could.
I don't know if you really ever want to see me again after today, but I would love to be in your pocket if I needed any other information.
Go ahead and make me a compel either crime or low society.
Compel in low society. That's a 10.
Of course it is.
I got a 10 and a
Truly
1.
rolled. The perfect fit. He looks at you and it's like he wants to be upset, and maybe there is the upset in there somewhere buried down, but it's been sort of supplanted by hurt and by what you told him about this baby that the two of you could have had. And he says, "What exactly are you asking of me, Freddie?"
If I would just wanted to simply disappear, I'm sure I wouldn't have come into your home. I don't know what I was thinking, what I am thinking. But these people need help. And not even just the fact that I live there. good people will lose their homes, and I would be an idiot to not try and do something given my situation, my contact with Shines the Light. Even if it is really just rubbing elbows with the devil. I want your help, and I want to be around. When I left, I didn't know what to do.
I know that we fought, Frederica, but you could have come to me. Did you? You truly believed that you couldn't tell me?
It put a lot of things into perspective. The way the line of work that we met in, the things I was burying, running away from, and the company we kept. When it happened, when I found out, I'm sure I was careless. I wasn't keeping track of my cycle or anything, really. I just getting caught up in the adrenaline of everything, all the missing pieces, puzzle pieces. You have to make sure don't touch others. I was losing my mind. When I found out, I guess it's not exactly right to say I lost it, but I made the choice to leave it. I didn't carry it to term, is what I mean. I couldn't do it.
He rises from where he has sort of separated himself from you and kind of stands over your place on the lounge. Not menacingly, like almost like a wall between you and the rest of the world. I don't know how to react, and maybe it doesn't matter now. But I want to say that I would have helped, but I don't know that you would even believe me.
I think at the end of the day, I wouldn't have even been able to do much for it either.
All right, well, sort of pulls back a little bit. It seems like we want the same thing for this housing issue. At least I don't want some Spire money coming in and completely changing this neighborhood. I like it the way that it is. So I'll do what I can. I was already doing what I could, but If there's any other information you need, any contacts that I could help you make, just ask, and if I come up with a way with your line to shines the light, I'll tell you. It'll be, well, I'd say it would be just like old times, but that was hardly in the spirit of openness and honesty then, wasn't it?
Did what the both of us had to do to stay employed or alive. Yeah. I'm going to reach out. I think I want to say like the wrap that I have, like it doesn't have sleeves, but like just like things that can at least cover my arms a little bit. And I kind of like I'm gonna embrace him in a way that I want it to be distracting.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make you roll for that. The second you like sort of move to touch him, he is thoroughly distracted.
Great. I want how do I even Freddie's gonna try to just hook up with him after it being so long, and then I think kind of just out of like a pure get all of the like chemicals sort of out in the moment and like genuinely missing him and seeing him after so long, but at the same time I think as kind of the night goes on and it's like more and more sober, actually there's alcohol now, so I think she's just like kind of still maintains the both of them in a very similar getting drunk to hook up kind of mode. I mean, at night, Freddie is gonna I think she doesn't like slip away without saying anything. I think she says she kisses him and is like, I have work in the morning. I forgot to tell you. I need to get out of here. And I'll get my own car basically. And I get out of there.
Yeah, easy enough. I think that as you're slipping out, you notice that the other pair of shoes is gone. But let's switch back to Marigold and DeNiro. Brooke posted something in our private chat. It's fine. But yeah, Marigold and DeNiro. Who is it that you wanted? Did you want to talk to the one in Red Row first, Astrid? Or which of these people are you going to try and bully first?
I guess Astrid does make sense given that she question mark.
Yeah, she her.
Given that she's the closest, but also is the easiest, because like we're not really changing her opinion, we're just kind of do your job. So yeah, like if you're alright with it after after Marley comes down, I think we head to Astrid's first.
That's great. I will be muted occasionally just because of her, but I also don't think I will need to say much. So, Astrid sounds good.
Perfect. Lorenzo gave you an address for Astrid's sort of home base. And it is a block of apartments, literally the block over from yours. So, truly, she is very near where it is that.
Does her building have an eviction notice?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I think we spend a good couple minutes just taking in the lack of posters on this particular building. Kind of before. Is the door to the building locked, or can we just go in?
You can just go in.
Cool.
Through the front door.
Through the front door?
Yeah, there is. I mean, it's like units up top, but I think that there's the sort of landlord manager office on the first floor in the building. And there, sort of in an office with a window, doing something with some paperwork, is who you presume is Astrid Frank. She's a human, she's small, she has sort of dark hair that is curly and pulled back. Really like in what would be a tight bun, except clearly she's been like pulling at strands to play with because she has nothing better to do. Yeah, just sort of doing her time here.
Knock politely on the door.
Sort of startles up. Oh, yeah. Did you just move in? I don't recognize you.
No, Miss Frank, yes.
That's correct.
Yes, we come bearing a message from a mutual friend. A trio of sisters. Who wish for you to remember to do your duty. Your civic duty as a member of our neighborhood's council.
She sort of rolls her eyes. As if I could forget between them and the graffiti, and it's causing so much more of a mess than I expected it to. Who would have thought that people would actually organize against it? But you can tell your dear employers that our interests remain aligned.
That's good to know. And just personal curiosity, what is your take on the new changes? How do you personally feel about them? Because I know some people are neutral, some people, of course, the graffiti artists are upset, and some people are excited. Where do you align in all of this?
She sort of gestures around her office, but encompassing the block of apartments that she owns. It's clear, isn't it? I mean, I might not be in the exact improvement zone, but I'm right next to it. The spillover effects on these apartments. Are you looking for a new house? I mean, it would behoove you to lock it in now before the prices raise.
DeNiro actually purses his lips and thinks on it.
Marigold has an expression that is hidden by his mask. Quiet. Yes, we did have a similar, what's the word I'm looking for? Similar advice given to us by Glass Holmes.
Glass.
If glass, yeah. Helm, I think.
Yes.
Glasshelm. We did have a similar advice given to us by Glasshelm. Yes, maybe in the upcoming days. / lying.
I mean, there are hardly any upcoming days left. Our vote, as your employers so generously remind me, is in 3 days. And as soon as that passes, well, I imagine that the money will come flowing in fairly quickly. It's fashionable, don't you know? A vacation home down in the ditches.
No. That. What about the people that live there before?
Oh, all part of the set dressing.
Okay. All right. Well,
Can we?
I don't think I had anything else to say. So DeNiro starts to like step back. It's like, okay.
Can we say the office actually looks out, like there's a window that looks out onto like our actual apartment? So like this kind of scene is framed like through the office window, and in the background we can see like our home of many years. Frank, this conversation has been quite illuminating. I will let our mutual friends know that your interests remain with them and with this project, and the new money flowing in to this neighborhood.
They got you talking to everyone? Or the whole subcommittee, I guess.
More or less.
Huh. Good luck. Cassian hasn't shut up about the balance of the Spire since this whole proposal was brought forth. I can't imagine that will be a fun conversation for you.
Thank you for the lovely warning.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for the warning. I don't believe they will be the ones who... I don't know. That sentence was wrong. I don't think we will be the ones needing the luck.
We were sent to be persuasive.
Just a full gun show happening.
Yeah, he has his armor under, just like a shirt, like an open shirt.
Yeah, she very sort of obviously eyes you and then, shakes herself out of it because she is a professional woman. Oh, well. Like I said, given our mutual acquaintanceship, I'd be happy to help you lock in a home here. It seems like you might be some good neighbors, some good neighbors.
Jake from State Farm. I don't know what State Farm is. I'm British.
That's so fine. Yeah, you barely need to know. He's just Jake from State Farm. DeNiro kind of looks up. It's like, we almost are neighbors already. If you just look over, but that is bound to change. So we'll maybe follow up with you. He said, like a liar.
Yes, see you soon. And I guess we tend to leave.
Yeah.
And can I lead us over to like somewhere like very clearly out of earshot from anyone in that building? I kind of want to kill her.
like I understand. Like if we weren't gonna walk, if she wasn't important, but we know where she lives now.
The fact that she didn't recognize us, despite the fact that she works opposite our building where we leave every single day.
Yeah, that was just a nothing thing. But you gotta save that optimistic attitude for the next two, because somehow I think it's gonna get worse. I think this went rather well for the purposes of our mission.
For the purposes of our mission, yes.
It
but I
doesn't
do still
stop
want to
the
kill
violent
her.
urges. I understand. I'm not even saying wait 3 days. It's like a useful sounds so crass. She might still be useful. Could think of it that way. But it's going to be harder to fake being cheery now. Vacation ones.
Yeah, like, I know we discussed, like, actually doing this job legit.
That was mostly me.
But after speaking to her and after hearing... Like, Lorenzo is one thing. Like, Lorenzo's just a goon.
He's just a mouthpiece for somebody else.
And the people at Glass Homes, like, they're not in Red Row. Like, they're just employees of some, like real estate company that doesn't care about anything. But
no.
To hear those words from an actual person, not just in our neighborhood, but on our street.
It didn't even seem scripted.
Didn't even seem scripted. And is whatever paycheck we're gonna get from the sisters, is it worth it?
I thought we already said it wasn't really about the paycheck. And then a large part of me is like, it's about getting closer to them, and then stabbing the people that might be responsible, if it's even just a few people. Because if a whole bunch of them believe this shit, then that's just a lot more work on our plates.
And also, this job succeeds when the vote goes through. And so if the vote goes through in their favor, it's already too late.
Okay.
You know, like, what was her name? I don't even remember what her name was.
It started with an A.
Astrid, there we go. I'm sorry, that was me having a brain fog moment. Like, I mean, Astrid said, like, vote goes through, money starts coming in, and everything changes.
One of them's going to be a hard sell, and one of them we don't know for sure. So, there's like a conspiratorial glint in his eye.
Maybe we swing him the other way.
If we let the intermediary think that we completed the job within these 3 days, that doesn't give us a lot of time, though. Like,
I mean, Lorenzo's expecting us to report in by the end of tomorrow.
And we won't know the results of our actions until the vote.
Yeah, so basically, Lorenzo wants us to speak to them today and tomorrow, but then we won't get paid until the vote goes through and it's confirmed that we were successful.
This is so complicated.
And to be honest, if we... like
You can be honest.
if we do fail the job, sure, we don't get in with the sisters, but I think if we still want to get in with the sisters, we're gonna have to be more direct rather than. I mean, if I knew this was gonna happen, I would have like built up a relationship already. But I don't think we have enough time to go down this route to get in with them.
No. I have kept out of the trade systems in my line of work for that exact reason. So I don't want to give up, though. That seems.
I don't want to give up either.
I still
I
need.
just don't want to.
He folds his arm. Still need to act as if we're going to get evicted, because if all of our hatching up shit comes up dry, then there is still a few dozen people that don't have anywhere to be, and maybe I want to not worry about that as much. Which is a lot of responsibility. I know. Yeah, that's. But hey, if the vote doesn't go through, that kind of stalls the issue.
Yeah. And you know. And also, not gonna lie, I mean, most of what I earn goes directly back. And I don't think I could cover everyone. But we do have something. You know, years worth of jobs. We could give everyone at least a little bit of support. One job.
Well, wouldn't it benefit us to actually go through with the job then? If they're paying more than your usual rate.
Are they paying more than my usual? Oh, if we get all 3 votes.
Yeah. Which maybe we could decide more once we get to the difficult one and the wild card. I'm not saying we have to kill them either. I'm just that far away looking at nothing like that.
I feel like we should decide before we go in, because if they're going to be difficult, like, we need to be committed to one way or the other.
Okay, well, we should start. I mean, I don't know very much about Rose Without Mercy, so. Actually, wait, sorry.
The one up Spire, right?
Rose Without Mercy is a little up Spire. Is the one in Pilgrim's Walk who is unsure.
Right.
Okay.
Bell's Toll Warning is the one very up Spire.
Okay, well, do we, would DeNiro know about, Bell Without Mercy? Tolls Without Mercy, I should say. Rose Without Mercy. That's Morning Rose.
Combining them all.
I'm trying to keep it like a conversational clip. These are so long.
They're long names, yeah.
Yeah, Rose Without Mercy.
You know, I think that because he worked as a guard / is nominally still a guard, you might have heard of him, yeah.
Okay. I don't know if that would be enough to know about personality, but could I roll? I don't know what that would be. Low society? High society?
That would be, I think, order and investigate.
Well, that's a single die, so. Come on, baby. That's a 9.
Ooh.
Hey, that's good.
That's pretty great.
Okay, he is not spoken about well these days. He was a sort of very like a poster boy, up and coming guard, who worked his way from sort of down Spire further and further up, getting better and better positions. But there was some, the way that people talked about it, there were some ties that held him back and dragged him back down. And even as his star rose to get a place on the council, his position in the guard itself fell. And it's unclear if that was like politicking or if he did something genuinely like unforgivable by the guard. But he's now sort of like cast away, forgotten out in Pilgrim's Walk. Mostly, doing the counselor bit of work.
Snaps his finger. Oh, wait. We used to call him Bootstrap. That's
an
was a while
unfortunate
ago.
nickname.
Yeah, it's because like the saying that was like made by Upspire people to be like, you should work hard and pull yourself up, and you can rise up too. Yeah, except like the whole point of like pulling your boot up with your hands is like, people, I don't know what the fuck a fallacy is, but apparently it's very stupid to pull up your boots in order to get yourself out of mud. So that's like the point. So he did work. The thing about politics is that he got into the council, and then he got into the council, and whatever landed him there got him demoted or like disgraced. But I wasn't either privy, like I don't know why I would have had to know. I was pretty low rank at the time, so that doesn't tell us much.
He sounds like the kind of person who would naturally side with the sisters then.
Okay.
But also, for what we're gonna do, understandably, no judgment here. You didn't tell Theo what I was up to.
No.
And, this line of work, kids shouldn't be exposed to that. But I also think, like, and sorry if this is going a little bit too far, but, like, if we're going to convince councillors to vote in the sisters' favour, are you going to be able to face Theo?
He genuinely blanks.
Alyssa, no. Sorry,
I was thinking that Theo would be like a pawn again, but I don't want to do that either. DeNiro just like balks a little. I think that's asking a lot of me.
I'm sorry to ask it, and if you don't want to answer,
sorry, no, DeNiro like actually reaches for your hand, if that's okay, and he's like, "Walk me through it." Why would I have to do that?
Wait, what do you mean? Like, I'm not saying we get Theo involved in this, but You know, if we convince these councillors to vote to destroy this neighborhood, basically, are you, DeNiro, the person going to be able to face Theo afterward?
When you put it like that, it makes it more my fault. Well, yeah.
I mean, no. Oh, no. Oh, backtracking. Oh, no. Marigold is saying this, like, in character. Like, whatever we choose to do, this is forces beyond our control.
We can't stop a vote.
We can't stop a vote. We can't stop a vote, you know, unless we, you know, kill all three of them, but, you know, plan Z.
Okay. And now DeNiro's like more warmed up to it.
But we don't need to be a spokesperson for the sisters. We can be a spokesperson for the neighborhood.
There's like a schooling of expressions on DeNiro's face. As you can tell, like what he said about needing to find someone, needing to get information was still like a primary drive, but he like kind of rolls his fingers over your hand and squeezes and lets go. Okay. That sounds like I would go less insane, I think. After all this happens, if we I don't know anything about fixing votes either. We should probably talk to I still don't know what Amir does. We should probably talk to Freddie about that in that instance. But
maybe when we find Amir, maybe talk about bringing Amir up Spire.
That would be, I guess, more his speed, which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, gestures at like what I'm wearing, gestures at we're not exactly up Spire kind of people.
Even though I can polish this fucking mask all day and all night, and it makes no fucking difference.
This is just a hunk of wood. So
not here, but I quite like mine. I just hate fucking wearing it. So I would prefer to be an Spire for as little time as possible. Disregarding all that, that would mean you get like giving the other two a visit and saying what, like, we've come from Red Row.
I mean, yeah.
Sounds less official and fancy, but that'll do.
I mean, to the one who's against the sisters, you know, I think we could even just kind of be like, what can we do to help? You know, like, what's the vibe? What's the situation? And
Cassian.
Yeah. And to the captain, I don't know. Depends what he's like.
Okay, so that guy can be a touch and go situation.
Yeah. Like, that guy we need a strategy for, but Cassian, we can just be like, hey, we're on your side. You know, obviously we live here.
You would think with the last person that would have been enough of an argument, but apparently it's set dressing. So
killing her is still on the table. I'm just going to put it out there. I would enjoy that greatly.
I would let you. I don't think there's any way I could make it any more efficient than just letting you work. At this point. Because that's the whole subcommittee, council, whatever. So
I do feel like that would have bad consequences for the neighborhood, actually. Maybe I'll put that off.
Okay. Yeah, like money is going to be moving regardless of what we do, which is sort of what we already said. But I feel like I need to read more or some shit. And that's why I feel a little useless sitting here with you. So I'm sorry. We can talk to Cassian.
Typically, when I talk to targets, it's with a knife at their throat, or it's indirect, threatening note on a table. You being here makes it so much easier to talk to people. Like, sure, maybe you're not doing much of the talking, but your presence behind me just gives weight to this entire thing. Like if it was just by myself, like, I probably would have, like, killed her, like, 5 minutes ago. Like, you keep this steady, you
I
keep
would
this
have let
stable.
you, though. Okay, I understand. Okay. Well, that made me feel a lot better. Thank you.
And also, if we rope Amir into this, like, it's just going to be the two of us, like, standing menacingly while Amir does all the talking.
Yeah, that should be easy for us. Though we'll maybe talk about murder impulses because there's so many consequences for that sort of shit right now. So
Maybe after the vote.
When it comes to Astrid, I'm not saying yeah. Like that, Astrid's a bad example. I shouldn't have fucking said that. We can continue. Where the fuck did Amir go? Probably went home. We should just go back home, right?
I have some ingredients for soup if you want a bowl while we wait.
Okay. Yeah. Why not? I still feel bad. You missed the soup from 2 days ago, so.
It's fine. It was Michael's recipe. I make it better.
Oh, okay. DeNiro looks really sad.
I begin climbing up the wall into the apartment.
Okay. I'm gonna use the stairs because I need the steps. Okay, come on.
And I think that as you two disappear back inside to what is your apartment building for the next 4 days at least, we will close this session. Thank you so much. I have been your GM, Alyssa. Find me on Twitter or Blue Sky at @ADisasterQueer, and I will pass it to Joe to do any plugs.
Hello, I have been Josephine. I'm at Scary Dog Friend. I was Freddie Rose, our very put together Inkweaver. Once more, Each One by Night Season 2's finale is going to be next Tuesday. If you also go over to Bad House RPG's Twitter right now, you could also potentially find out how to win some Each One by Night specifically designed dice. We are not selling. We are giving away two sets of 10d10s so you can play VTM, where we all of the cast in Each One by Night had a hand in designing these wonderful Odd Duck dice. Please consider supporting Odd Duck Dice as well as Each One by Night for our finale, and or you could also even play Spire with them. That's so true. There's that. On Nameless Domain, we are continuing forever in continuity our Shots series. So if you are interested in seeing us showcase a 1, 2, or 3 shot just throughout the coming quarter 4, upcoming for September stuff, there will be proper announcements for that, but lots of fun stuff between CJ, Scholastic Dragon, and I, and potentially more and different DMs. I'm gonna pass it over to Rook.
Oh, hi. Hi, I've been Rook. You can find me on Twitter and now Blue Sky at RJK Games. I don't particularly use either very much, but linked is my link tree where you can find all of my work, including a bunch of indie games, which are sad and gay, much like this character. Oh, I do actually have a plug this week. On Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, I will be on twitch.tv/Valdrinth, where we'll be playing Tremors 1990, tabletop role-playing game based on the film Tremors, for Extra Life. That's me. Nada.
Hello, everybody. Played very, very frustrated guy who is just a guy at this rate. DeNiro. You can find me at Twitter and Blue Sky, trans_father. I really think about changing it every time I go through the blurb, but it's okay. It's okay. It's branding at this point. Can find me doing way different types of games over on Take Your Roll on Mondays, 5 Pacific. So like this time, I'm going to be playing and running tech for a mouse shooter game run by Ian_Caliente. Just about mouse adventures. And every other Thursday, I'm playing at 3 p.m. Pacific an Animon Shaman King inspired game about somewhat similar to the gentrification storyline here, about children in a fighting ring made by Elon Musk. So if that sounds
My
interesting
favorite.
at all, if you like Animon, yeah. If you like Animon, which is coming out in physical print soon, or I think now actually it is in print right now. It's pretty cool. Yeah, you should see how we fucking play it, because it's really snappy and dynamic and cool, and I love all the like cute, wholesome games, which are very much not this. So if you like those types of vibes, you can find me, and I'll just throw it back for outros. Thank you, Alyssa.
Yeah, thank you all. Nadine was not here, but you can find them on Twitter at any_actor or on Blue Sky at anyactor. And yeah, we will all be here next week for our next episode. See what these wild kids get up to, and all the good decisions they make. Thanks, y'all. Bye.
Bye.